Now, Lord Christopher Monckton, a Brit, he is warning us. He's warning us that Obama is about to sign off on a treaty. I assume they're still going to try and get it ratified the way they're supposed to, but time will tell. A climate treaty, quote unquote, that will surrender a big chunk of our sovereignty to an international whatever, to the UN climate change entity. Can you imagine that? And you might say, why would Obama do that, Mark? Well, then you need to go back and listen to the first hour of this program on marklevinshow.com, and you'll get it. First of all, Obama's ego isn't big enough for the United States. He gets far more adulation from the rest of the world. He likes Pravda more than he likes the Fox News channel. He likes whatever government-run media there is in Cuba and Venezuela, which lavish praise on him more than the Fox News channel. That's how sick he and his administration are. That's right, I said sick. But listen to Lord Christopher Monckton. We're going to play the whole 3 minutes and 25-second clip. He's a climate change expert on what Obama is about to do, or at least try to do. Again, the new green is the old red. Take my word for it. Cut 15, go.
At Copenhagen, this December, weeks away, a treaty will be signed. Your president will sign it. Most of the third world countries will sign it because they think they're going to get money out of it. Most of the left-wing regimes around the world, like the European Union, will rubber stamp it. Virtually nobody won't sign it. I have read that treaty, and what it says is this, that a world government is going to be created. The word government actually appears as the first of three purposes of the new entity. The second purpose is the transfer of wealth from the countries of the West to third world countries in satisfaction of what is called coyly a climate debt. Because we've been burning CO2 and they haven't, and we've been screwing up the climate. We haven't been screwing up the climate, but that's the line. And the third purpose of this new entity, this government, is enforcement. How many of you think that the word election or democracy or vote or ballot occurs anywhere in the 200 pages of that treaty? Quite right, it doesn't appear once. So at last, the communists who piled out of the Berlin Wall and into the environmental movement and took over Greenpeace, so that my friends who founded it left within a year because they'd captured it. Now the apotheosis is at hand. They are about to impose a communist world government on the world. You have a president who has very strong sympathies with that point of view. He's going to sign. He'll sign anything. He's a Nobel Peace Laureate. Of course he'll sign it. And the trouble is this. If that treaty is signed, your constitution says that it takes precedence over your constitution. And you can't resile from that treaty unless you get the agreement of all the other states parties. And because you'll be the biggest paying country, they're not going to let you out. So, thank you, America. You were the beacon of freedom for the world. It is a privilege merely to stand on this soil of freedom while it is still free. But in the next few weeks, unless you stop it, your president will sign your freedom, your democracy, and your prosperity away forever, and neither you nor any subsequent government you may elect will have any power whatsoever to take it back again. That is how serious it is. I have read the treaty. I've seen this stuff about government and climate debt and enforcement. They are going to do this to you, whether you like it or no. But I think it is here in your great nation, which I so love and I so admire. It is here that perhaps at this 11th hour, at the 59th minute and the 59th second, you will rise up and you will stop your president from signing that dreadful treaty, that purposeless treaty, for there is no problem with the climate, and even if there were, economically speaking, there's nothing we can do about it. So I end by saying to you the words that Winston Churchill addressed to your president in the darkest hour before the dawn of freedom in the Second World War. He quoted from your great poet Longfellow, "Sail on, O ship of state, sail on, O Union, strong and great." Humanity, with all its fears, with all the hopes of future years, is hanging breathless on thy fate.
Ladies and gentlemen, If you're not fully and completely pissed off by now, I don't know what it's going to take. If you love this country, if you love your very existence in this country, if you love the history of your country and its traditions and customs and institutions, if you thank God as I do every day that my children are here and not some hellhole on some other part of this earth, if a member of your family or you have fought for this country, if you're a true believer in the magnificence of this country, then you have to be disgusted with what's going on with this country. That one party can so quickly unmoor itself from the Constitution's limits and drag us into this sewer. And I will remind you of what Ronald Reagan once said. It's the last paragraph in my book. He said, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. He said, we didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States where men were free, unquote. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have children, I want you to look at them. If you have grandchildren, I want you to look at them. We are defending this society for them, against those who would bankrupt their futures, against those who would take their liberty and hand it to a foreign entity. And what the hell for? What the hell for? Because Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Harry Reid say so? How sick is that? These people are better and smarter than our founding fathers? They're better and smarter than the people that came before them? No, they're not. They're the worst of the worst.